It's probably most memorable engagement, put that way. So I'm getting ready to go home, and one of the guys comes in and says, "Hey, the marshals are here. They got a guy in town that's hiding out, and they've been tracking him all over the country, and they got him pinned down to a trailer park." So I said, "Okay."
Do you recall, or at that time, did you know why they were following him or what his deal was?
He was an Aryan Brotherhood. He was a big boy in the unit, and he violated his parole for some firearm charges, and so he was on the run. So they tracked him down, and so I thought, well, all right, let's run out here and grab him real quick. And so, because they said, "Oh, he's bad and he's a tough guy." Well, everybody after 30 years, you kind of become numb. Thinking, okay, everybody's a tough guy, and okay, whatever. So we get out there and we go to the first trailer. He's not in there, and then they go to the next trailer. They think he's in. He's not in there. So we're 2 hours into this search for this guy, and I'm thinking by this time I've kind of got whatever. He's not in here, and so finally they knock on the door, and a lady says, "Okay, he's in that trailer right there." And so I turn around and look, and the trailer's probably got 40 cameras on it. So I'm thinking, oh, great.
Yeah.
He's been watching us for 2 hours preparing for this. So, the marshals have a little bit different rules of engagement. They don't knock. They just take the door off the hinge, So off comes this door, and they start making announcements to come out, and nothing. Make some more announcements, nothing. So finally, a guy comes out. He's a heroin addict. He comes crawling out, and he says, "Hey, he's in here. He's in the back. He's not coming out." He says he's going to take it to the end. He said he's not going back to prison. So get in there, and so by now, of course, all these announcements. My dog's lost its mind. It's out of control. It's for 2 hours. It's listened to this, so it's lost its mind. It's tearing the walls down. I'm trying to hold it back. It's ripping the sheetrock off the walls and trying to get down the hall. And I look down the hall where this guy's supposed to be, and there's a Malinois sitting on the bed.
No shit.
And I'm like, oh my God, this can't get any worse, So I'm like, so we go 13 minutes of announcements just because of who he was, and we were trying to come up with a plan to how to get in there without anybody getting hurt, and and by the intel, we really didn't know complete about him, but he had a pretty good long rap sheet. So I thought, well, he's probably going to give a pretty good fight. And so,
is smoke or tear gas? Or is that not being used? Or
it is, but really, it's only it's not used very often. It's pretty much a standoff type thing. Here, we were kind of like still in that mentality of, hey, he's got a warrant, let's just get him. He's in the room. We got enough guys, got a dog, let's go grab him. So after about 13 minutes of announcements, I make my way down the hall with the dog. It's a trailer, so the room is really small, but it's full of stuff, full of clothes and stuff.
Is it like shithole?
Yeah. So there's this Malinois sitting on the bed staring at us, and I'm thinking, I'm trying to shoo it off the bed. I'm like, let's go. He's just looking.
And your dog's right next to you?
Yeah, so my dog's right here keyed. He's ready to go. So I'm thinking, man, I sure hope this doesn't go bad.
Is he paying attention to the dog?
No, he's not. He hasn't looked at the dog one time yet. So I finally well, here it goes. So I reel him in there, and up on the bed he goes, pushes the dog off the bed, and he's hunting around, and comes back down, and he's in there searching, and nothing. And I'm thinking, well, heck, this guy's not in here. He's got out. So I reel in a little bit. I walk in, and there's some clothes. I just peel back a little bit of the clothes, and boom, here it is. The fight's on. He comes up out of the clothes, and we're fighting. So now I'm fighting. I'm in there by myself because nobody else wants to come in because there's a dog in there.
Yeah.
But in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, why is my 90-pound Dutch Shepherd not attached to this man? So we're fighting and fighting. So in the meantime, a K-9 handler that was with me, an ex-K-9 handler, he comes through the crowd, comes in.
Before you get any further on that, just you say you're fighting. Is this guy the bad motherfucker that everybody said? Like, so he's tossing you around?
So this is the bad dude.
Yeah.
Okay, so
is he punching you or like what?
So yeah, so we're in a little bit of we're in a fist fight, but he's down, I'm on top, so I feel pretty good about it. Even though he's a lot larger, I've got the upper hand, but I'm still in my mind thinking, because ultimately I got a dog loose in this trailer. I'm thinking, oh my God, where's this dog at? And I'm thinking he's down the hall, eating somebody down there. And so the other canine handler jumps in, and when he does, he's got an MP5 here, and the guy reaches up, boom, snatches it.
Damn.
So now it's changed dynamics.
What does that do for you guys, use of force wise, if they grab a gun?
Yeah. So now we're basically, when it comes down to it, we're in lethal force.
Yeah. So you could shoot him at that point.
But we're in a kind of a situation that we can't even do that. We're just trying to get this. So we're fighting to get this gun back, and finally we managed to get the gun back, and I'm still in my mind thinking, where's my dog? So I'm yelling for him. So I look over out the corner of my eye, and I see about that much of his tail sticking out, and he's been under there the whole time, attached.
No shit. And this guy's like, it's not even happening.
Never made a noise.
Holy fuck.
So he's pretty much now.
Is he hopped up on shit?
No. Wow. So he's not. He's not hopped up on anything. So this 90-pound Dutch Shepherd now is practically taking off his calf. It's coming out. It's coming off. And so I finally get him up, and I still don't know this yet, that he's attached. I just see his tail and things. I'm thinking, okay, he's got him somewhere. But I'm thinking from no reaction, he's probably got a boot. He's got something to where this guy's not feeling the pain. And so we finally get him handcuffed, get him up, and sure enough, he's attached, and
like molar deep.
Yeah, like he's like pulling it off. It's coming out, and so I get him off. The guy never makes one sound, never makes one expression, nothing. And so we walk him outside, put him on the porch, and of course my dog's amped up through the roof, and I take him back to the car, come back up, and I look at him. I said, dude, why wouldn't you just come out? And his first quote to me was, he said, listen, he said, no offense. He said, but I'm 49 years old. He said, I've spent my entire life in incarceration except for 5 years when I was a kid. He said, your job is to come get me. My job is to make it really difficult for you. And he said, I felt I did pretty good. And I looked at him, I said, well, let me ask you something. I said, what would you have done if you got that gun? He said, I'd kill both of you. He said, I'd have killed you both. I wouldn't have thought about one thing about it. He said, I'd have went on my business, went into prison, didn't care at all. So we had a little conversation there, and he was actually a very interesting, he's an interesting guy, to talk to. He wasn't, most guys you get that say they're bad and tough, once you get them handcuffed, they run that mouth and talk about what they're going to do when the handcuffs were off. Well, they were off to begin with. We put them on there, So, but this guy wasn't like that. It was like a job. That was his job. And so I got him up and walked him over to the car, and I said, listen, we got to take you to the hospital. Half your calf's gone. And he said, no, I'm not going to the hospital. He said, take me to the jail. He said, I got 5 years to pull. He said, and it started 10 minutes ago when your dog was attached. And so, of course, the jail wouldn't take him. We had to take him to the hospital. And there we had even more conversation with him. And I'm like, okay. I said, just so I know, at what point was my dog attached to you? He said, the whole time. He said, when he come off that bed and cleared my dog off, he went straight under. He said, when you pulled it back, he said he was already attached. And I said, and you didn't say nothing. He said, it's my job. He says, that's what I do. He said, I spent 45 years in prison. And so.
Wait a minute. I mean, he's 49. How did he go to prison at 5 years old?
He means like incarceration. So his dad,
boys'
family,
home or some shit. Oh,
yeah. So So he said, I've been in incarceration, my whole life. So, so we get down there, and I get talking to him. And he said, I pulled off his shirt, and he's covered from head to toe in Nazi tattoos. I had some of the coolest tattoos I've ever seen in my life. But there's bullet holes. He's got bullet holes. He's been gutted from top to bottom. He's been, this is the real deal dude. And he says, this is nothing. This is just street credit for me. I go back into pen. He says, I get back into my status, and it's no big deal. Life goes on, And in fact, he told me, he said, in fact, I'm just going to tell you, your dog's a bitch. He said, it wasn't that bad. And I was like, what?